UFC Fight Night, Kape vs. Almabayev has wrapped up, and Manel Kape gets a pretty dominant performance over Almabayev. Like this was an amazing hate watch. I got nothing against Azul as a person, but like holy shit, this guy was so overrated. Like if you watch his fights, you just know he's not that good. But I've seen people saying he was like a future champ and all this stuff. So this was like very satisfying to smoke in that Azul Almabayev pack. I'm sure he's a really nice guy though, so nothing personal against him. But there was just such a weird hype train for this guy. Like you look at his level of comp, even in his level of comp, he didn't like dominate completely. Like even against, oh my god, Mateus Nicolau, he was not winning that fight. It was 1-1 going into the third, and Nicolau's chin failed him. If he had an average chin instead of a very below average chin, Nicolau would have won that fight. Yeah. So yeah, I knew Kape was going to win this fight. There was no doubt in my mind that Kape was going to go in there and batter this guy. His striking's not that good. He's a body kick and a head kick. That's all he's got. That's his complete striking arsenal. But Kape, yeah, just beats him up, stuffs every single takedown he threw. Masterclassed him a little bit. Did cheat a little bit. There were some eye pokes. Not proper eye pokes. Like it wasn't like a full-on eye poke, but there were eye scrapes with his fingers. So I guess you could say still an eye poke, but it's not like it was as blatant. Like it was him, I think, sort of like pushing off the head, or even just like trying to get a hold of him to throw a punch. But still is a foul. The finish was a bit weird. He was getting battered. He did get eye scraped earlier before the finish, and then he was like running for his life, and then because he turned his back, Mike Beltran stopped it. Because people forget, man. But you know, the rule is if you like turn your back, they can stop the fight due to that, which is really stupid. It's a stupid rule. Like the guy's trying to recover, so it makes the stoppage just look so sloppy and shit. But yeah, it was fair play. Kape versus the winner of Kai France versus Pantoja would probably be next. That fight's going to be happening in June. So that would make some sense. Or they could just rebook him versus Royval. They haven't fought before. Can you really give him a win over a guy like Azul Almabayev? And this just convinces me, like, Steve Osek really would have dominated Azul. So why couldn't they have just let him beat Azul and then given him Moreno? Like, I don't know, I would have liked to have seen Osei get some more momentum before fighting Moreno, but yeah, that's just a pet peeve there. But anyway, the co-main event was actually crazy. Like, it was actually an amazing fight. Cody Brundage versus Julian Marquez was actually really good. Like, surprisingly, that fight actually fucking rocked. Like, that was actually good. We got a good fight out of it, which was not expected at all. Yeah. It was just back and forth. It was like just two shit guys made a really good fight. Like, that's the thing. You don't have to be high level. Like, the lower level guys have better fights than they have better fights than the higher level guys, because they're just going in there to scrap. Especially one of these guys is going to get cut, which will probably be Marquez. Who knows? I could see them just not shining Cody Brundage, but he sort of got to after that performance. Especially because he takes a lot of short notice fights as well. Like, I don't know, I like fights like this where you go like two guys, one's going to get cut, it's the loser leaves the UFC type fight. Both have taken a lot of damage, neither are like super durable. Like, I like fights with chinny guys because it makes the story so much better when one of them gets hurt then the other one gets hurt. Like, I thought Cody Brundage was about to get knocked out. He was so badly hurt, wasn't defending himself. And then he lands a big shot, wobbles Marquez a little bit. Then they're still scrapping it out, and then Mark Smith stops the action to let him put in his mouthpiece. People are saying it was like a big deal, like it completely changed the fight, but he did land a big knee before that on Marquez, and he was starting to land a few more shots. I'm sure even just a little bit of a chance to recover would have helped him. But yeah, eventually Marquez gets dropped by Brundage badly. Very similar shot to what Gregory Rodriguez got him with. Then he starts beating the shit out of him on the ground, and then he gets him out of there. So Cody Brundage gets the win. Nice little knockout. You know, can't hate on that. Man, he's probably going to get re-signed. You'd hope so after that, because that was a crazy fight. Who knows, they might even keep Marquez because he had a really good fight. You know, they seem to reward fighters like that who have, you know, just back-to-back action fights. Even though, you know, he has been chinned 4 times. Still not as embarrassing as the whole Miley Cyrus fumble. Then we had the feature fight, which was Esteban Ribovic versus Nasrat Haqparast. I personally thought that Nasrat lost. I thought that Esteban Ribovic won, but I didn't think it was like this crazy robbery. I can see the argument for it. I just thought Esteban Ribovic did a lot more damage with his shots. Almost knocked him out in the third round, but the first round was like a Nasrat masterclass. That was a really good first round by Nasrat, but the second and third I thought were Esteban's, but I'm not going to cry about it. Like, Esteban will be back. He is a very good fighter, but I just think he rightfully won. But it's not like a robbery. Like, it is a fight where you can go, I can see the argument for Nasrat getting his hand raised, so I'm not gonna be upset about it. You can't cry about spilt milk. But yeah, you would have preferred the actual guy who... It seemed like everybody thought he won, but it was one of those close fights, aren't robbery type things. But still, sucks for Esteban, but Nasrat probably needed to win more. 5-fight winning streak, he'll probably be ranked for the first time in his career. I believe it'll be the first time. Because he was very close. He's always been very close to getting ranked. Like against Drew Dober. He was very close, or maybe he just gets a ranked opponent next. But he's on a 5-fight winning streak, so you got to think of rankings probably fast approaching. But yeah, great fight, good back and forth scrap between two very talented lightweights. Argentina versus Afghanistan. It's a rivalry as old as time. But yeah, great fight. And TriStar's on like a pretty good run at the moment too. But then we had Haider Emil versus William Gomez. I was so happy with this fight. Firstly, because William Gomez is just not typically a very entertaining fighter. He normally has pretty boring fights. So it was good that Haider Emil brought a good fight out of him. Because it's a fight where like Gomez really can't be boring in this fight. He has to he has to be scrappy in this fight because he's going to get constantly pressured, which opens up his counters, which actually made everything pretty fun. And I feel like this is the type of fight Gomez wants when he wants to be like entertaining. But again, he got battered. I thought the second and third were pretty clear for Haider Emil, if I'm remembering correctly. I know the third was definitely clear. I think it was the second. I was pretty confident Haider Emil won. I've seen a lot of people saying it was like 2-0 Gomez going into the third round, which I thought was a bit ridiculous. Like, I don't know, the pressure, I know pressure isn't just, like, damage is the number one scoring criteria, but he was actually landing a lot of damaging shots on William Gomez. He was just pressuring forward. A lot of the Gomez shots were a lot more pitter-patter. I feel like Haider Emil landed a lot more heavy shots, and it's great. He's won. He's a very entertaining fighter. Entertainment won for once. Normally it's the boring fighter wins, but no, not this time. The entertaining fighter won. You love to see it. You really do love to see it. So yeah, good job for Haider Emil. 34 years old, almost 35. Crazy. Got into UFC a bit older, but I think he can get to the rankings, to be honest. His style is pretty taxing on people. But he'll probably fight like Edson Barboza and get fucking knee pressuring forward like Billy Quarantillo, to be honest. Just knowing how featherweight is. He is older, so I don't expect him to be like champ or anything like that. But he's a very good fighter. He's an entertaining fighter. And you love to see guys like that succeed. I think he's now 3-0 in the UFC. You could do him versus like Nate the Train or something like that. I feel like that'd be a pretty cool fight. Both moving forward, both scrappers. I feel like there's some really cool fights you could do for Haider Emil. So I hope he stays active. I don't think he will, because I think he mentioned like his ACL or MCL or some shit was torn. Like he went into this fight pretty injured. I think I seen some comments say that. So that will probably hold his activity down a bit. But I think once he's back, he'll look even better. Because yeah, he looked pretty good in this fight. And won clearly, in my opinion. And I picked him, so that's also good. Sam Patterson versus Danny Barlow was pretty unexpected. I don't think Danny Barlow's like this crazy prospect or anything, especially because we've seen like Nikolai, the guy who fought last week and lost to Mr. Van Zandt. He's not the greatest guy in the world, but I'd sort of expected that he'd be able to beat Sam Patterson, who's got tall man defense, very hittable. But at welterweight, he's a beast. Like welterweight is just his division because he took some big shots. Didn't really get rocked or anything. And, Danny Barlow's got power for days. So I feel like Sam Patterson is just built for welterweight. Like, he should have been in this weight class his whole career. Or at least, yeah, you know, like the Johan... I was about to say Johan Lunes. The Israeli guy. Yeah, Yanel Ashmuz, that's it. Like, that doesn't happen if this fight's at welterweight. This fight's at welterweight. He's being able to eat that shot, I feel like. But still, great performance. Knocks him out. I don't think anybody expected that. I think most people would have expected him to get a decision, a submission. But no, he just goes out there and knocks him out. 3-0 now in the welterweight division. Like, he's on a roll. You got to do some good fight for him next. And he's actually looking like an interesting prospect. And, like, he did have some good wins on the regional scene as well. So, like, I'm pretty excited to see... what they do next for Sam Patterson. So yeah, congratulations to him. Great performance. Then we had the feature fight of the prelims, which was Austin Lane versus Mario Pinto. I thought Austin Lane was about to get an upset victory. He dropped Mario Pinto, was battering him a little bit. But then he just gets caught in the second round with a clean 1-2 down the pipe and is put out cold. Like, he's just put brutally out cold. And Pinto was going for a follow-up shot too, which you love to see that level of viciousness. You know, he was like, nah, fuck that, I'm not losing. Like, I'm making sure this guy's down. I'm not taking any chances. So yeah, beautiful stuff. That was generally like a great finish. I think they need to pump the brakes a little bit for Mario Pinto though. Like, will he be something big one day? Yeah, I'm sure he can, but you know, maybe there was UFC jitters here, but you know, don't like rush him up the rankings or anything like that. He's still young. He still needs a bit more experience, but you know, it's heavyweight. They're not really like that skilled, so we'll see. Looks good though. Besides the first round, the second round was only 39 seconds, but still. Then we had Ricardo Ramos versus Shepe Mariscal. Mariscal just pressured. This was like very similar to the Gomez versus Hyder Emil fight. Holy shit. Hyder Emil versus Shepe Mariscal would be an insane fight. Like, that would just be who would be the one moving forward in that fight. Because they're both just constantly moving forward. Like, that would actually be insane to see, in my opinion. Like, but still, anyway. Ricardo Ramos, he would land a lot of spinning elbows. Like, really good spinning elbows. Would come really close to... you know, getting like a knockdown or something, but Shepe Mariscal would keep moving forward. His striking style is so interesting because it's just like pressure, but he's like, it's just pressure, but it's such a like fun style. He was doing a lot of judo tosses. Anytime Ramos would try and clinch with him or do anything really, it was beautiful stuff. But yeah, great performance. You love to see it. And yeah, I'd love to see him versus Calvin Guitar next. So yeah, do Shepe Mariscal versus Calvin Guitar. Then we had Danny Silva versus Lucas Almeida. This is crazy that this was a split decision. It was a very clear win for Danny Silva, in my opinion. Batters him in the first two rounds. Well, not battered. Okay, battered is like, I'm exaggerating a little bit. But he clearly wins the first 2 rounds. A lot of good boxing exchanges. One of the judges gave him the second, which was the clearer round for Danny Silva, which was fucking insane. But then he took the third round off. Almeida got a bit of work done, but pretty clear for Danny Silva. Then we had Andrea Lee versus JJ Aldrich. JJ Aldrich wins. Then we had Charles Johnson versus Ramazan Bektemirov. This was Charles Johnson's fight to lose. He could have won this fight. I don't mean like the decision. He clearly lost the decision. Ramazan clearly won. Like, I'm not denying that. But Charles Johnson in that third round was just battering him. Yeah, he gassed out, but if he would have threw a few more strikes in those earlier rounds, he really could have won. Like, that is something that really annoys me when fighters do that. But, yeah. Ramazan looked good. Power didn't knock him down or anything like that, but he was just showed decent cardio in the first 2 rounds. With the third round, he does swing everything into his shots, so you can't really like say, oh, he's super gassy or anything like that. But yeah, Charles Johnson ends up like battering him a little bit in the third round. Lots of good body work, a lot of big shots, but a little too late. He thinks he won, which like it was very clear to Ramazan. Like I want to say Charles Johnson won because I picked him, but I can't. Like it was very clear. It was clear as day. But yeah, great card overall. There were some really fun fights. So yeah, love to see that. Good fights. And yeah, we'll see what happens moving forward for these guys. I'd like to see you could do Ramazan versus like Azui Almabayev or someone like that. That'd be cool. Because Ramazan's going to be ranked. Or if you want like fun fights, you could do Ramazan versus... Because I really think this Ramazan guy is pretty exciting. So there is some pretty fun fights you could give this Ramazan guy. Like imagine him versus Joshua Van, Kai Asakura, Ryzen fight. Ryzen versus Ryzen, Kai Asakura, that'd be sick. Bruno Silva would be sick. Tim Elliott, Tagir Ulanbekov. Like there are some fun fights you could do. But anyway... Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like this video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.